These are some of the best practices now when it comes to follow-up. So number one is always schedule the next call right away. So whenever you're speaking with somebody, like before you move on to the next person or the next task or whatever, schedule the next task. It could be a task, it could be a call, it could be a message, it could be that you need to send out some information, but always schedule the next thing right away. The next, and I know this next one sounds pretty basic, but use a CRM. Have a CRM. I'll tell you, I meet with so many business owners and even companies that you would think, they have like 7 or 8 employees and 10 salespeople, and they don't even have a CRM in place. And people are just, everybody's kind of doing their own thing. And having a really good CRM in place will make all the difference in the world. And we have a great product that we use called Path to Mastery, or CRM. And I'll show you some more of that as we go deeper into this. Hey everybody, welcome to our Thursday webinar. And man, I'm excited today to bring the webinars back. We were doing this every Thursday for quite a while, and I got away from it the last 3 months. So I'm just excited to bring it back. And every Thursday we're going to continue bringing you sales training and different webinars on different aspects of the sales process, and we're doing it for free. So it's just, we want to pour into people and keep giving people more and more value and in content. So I just appreciate every single one of you guys being here. We got a lot of people that signed up for this webinar today, and so I'm going to get you right into it. At the end, I'm going to open it up for questions as well, and I want to hear what you guys' thoughts are. But I start every webinar with this slide right here, and I think I hit the wrong button, so we're starting off really great. Just go back to the slideshow. Slide. Second. You can tell I'm rusty now, right? With the I'm a little rusty here with the running the slide. So, all right. So I like to start all of my trainings I do with this particular slide, and this is from Zig Ziglar, and it's a quote that when you help enough people get what they want, you will just end up with whatever it is that you want. And it's really about coming from contribution. I mean, that's it. So, and I just, like I said, my goal here is always just to pour into people and really challenge. I do like to challenge. Like, people that know me know I will challenge the status quo. I will challenge people to become better and focus on achieving higher and higher results. And I just love doing that. And I believe that's what I'm here on earth to do, is to challenge people and help bring them to mastery, but challenge them in a loving way, in a way that really, because I think most people, they're not going to, so that's why that's important to me. Today, we're going to be getting into one part of the workshop, Grant Cardone's Sales Execution Workshop. I am an instructor and trainer with Cardone University. And one of the courses that has had the most impact on me is this sales workshop, and we're going to be getting into one component of that. To tell you a little bit about myself, I'm 35 years in outbound sales. I spent 19 years in the real estate industry. The last 2.5 years of my life, I've transitioned out of, sales, working for other people, and really started my own company, which is consulting and coaching now on the sales process. I absolutely love what I do, and that's why I'm doing this. And I'm Cardone certified, so the curriculum I'm delivering today is based on Cardone University's sales curriculum. I also I am a trainer, or was a trainer for Success, the brand, the magazine. I am no longer delivering that curriculum, but a great organization. One Thing certified as well, with the One Thing book. Gary Keller, Keller Williams University. I was a trainer for Keller Williams, which is where I learned to teach and train. Really, that's where I got in front of bigger crowds. From 2013 to 2018. Dale Carnegie before that. You guys know Dale Carnegie, the guy that wrote the book how to win friends and influence people. I used to do a workshop years and years ago, which is where I really learned how to speak in public. Super, super fun. And I started teaching that course back in, geez, that's like 2002, 2003, going way, way back. So I've been doing it a long time. I have three amazing daughters, ages 6 all the way to 33, my friends. So I have a big spectrum of amazing daughters at all different levels. And then I have 2 grandchildren, an amazing wife, and I'm also love sports and athletics, and I have 2 books. I'm an author of 2 books, which you'll see my books on the screen, the Sales Playbook, as well as How to Earn Even More Money Working Fewer Hours Selling Real Estate. And my podcast, which I always forget, but I have an amazing podcast that I've had Gary V, Mel Robbins, Grant Cardone many times, Chris Voss, so many amazing guests, and I love my podcast. So a little bit about me, but what I'm going to tell you, I think the most important thing I'm going to say today is if you're on this and you see the slide, it's family first for me. It really is family first. That's my family, is my beautiful wife V, my 2 daughters. That's Penelope and Samara, both amazing daughters, and they're just awesome. Penelope's a little grinder like me. She's a little closer. She doesn't give up. She won't stop. My wife V is like the nurturer. She's a master at, like, people love her. Like she's in real estate, and her clients like literally bring her closing gifts. It's wild. As a matter of fact, one of her clients recently, she hasn't even told anybody this, but one of her clients recently is getting married, and they're going to propose in the new house. And they asked my wife if she would go and let the husband in early, so that when she gets there with the wife, he's going to propose. So, I mean, think about that. How cool is that when your clients are asking you to be involved at that level? So that's how my wife is. She's that type of person. My daughter Samara is just amazing, super curious. She's a super awesome nurturer, just like her mom, and just super, super amazing and curious. All right. And now I want to tell you, this is my oldest daughter, Jacqueline. She's in the photo here. And you can probably tell she's the one on the far right. And, about 20, almost 22 years ago now, she was 10 years old. And she came home one day, and she said, Dad, Mom's friend Sue makes a lot of money selling real estate. She said, Dad, you should get your real estate license. And I was like, oh, like, okay, like, do I not make enough money? Or it didn't even make sense to me at the time. I was like, all right, it doesn't even make sense. But for whatever reason, the next morning I woke up and it was on my mind to get my real estate license, because I was working for the family business. My mother ran a publishing company, and I wasn't happy, so it was on my mind. I ended up going down and I did the course, and long story short, here I am, 22 years later, and real estate has opened so many doors for me, but it all started with my daughter, Jacqueline, one day coming home and saying, Dad, you should get your real estate license. And I thank her all the time. I mean, it's everything I've done really has become has kind of spawned off of what I was doing in real estate, and it's been a great, great opportunity for me. So I want to talk to you. I want to get you back into this, and I want to talk to you about the the workshop that we're talking about today. And this is the sales execution workshop. And I want to let you know too, at the end, I'm going to create an opportunity for people that want to jump into a workshop that's happening this month. And just, we do workshops once a quarter. So if you're watching this after the fact, just realize that we do a workshop once a quarter. So you're always able to jump into an upcoming workshop with us. And today, though, what I want to talk to you about is there's 5 parts to the workshop. There's the first step is your greeting. And when you're getting out there, you're connecting with people, introducing yourself, meeting people you know or don't know. The second step is fact finding, which really is about asking great questions, becoming better at asking questions, and digging deep with people. I'll tell you, it's probably one of the most important parts of the sales process. Your demo is when you show up and you present and you talk about how great you are and what you do in your company. And then the closing is a critical step in the sales process, correct? Like you got to know how to confidently ask for business. You want to know how to close and ask for what you want, right? And handle objections. And then the next step, which is what we're talking about today, is follow up. I mean, follow up is critical. I want you guys to realize that the majority of your business is going to come as a result of follow up. Now, if the slide I'm showing you is this is the 2-day sales execution workshop broken into steps, and you'll notice all the steps I just went through with you, and then you'll see the follow up. There's 2 levels. There's follow up because, hey, I went through my process with the person, and for whatever reason they didn't close, so now I need to follow up to get back to the close or help them move forward with a decision. Or everything went great and now I need to follow up with my onboarding process and bringing them through doing business with me so that it leads to more business and it leads to referrals and in a successful transaction with them or whatever your business model is. So follow up shows up in everywhere. But I want to get back to this number. Very, very important right here. 70%. 70%. And as a matter of fact, if you guys would in the chat, I want you to type this number out because it's important. 70%. I want you to realize 70% of your business will come from follow-up. It's a high number. And in some industries, I'll tell you, it's even higher, and it's the average is probably higher depending, on your industry. But when we did the research on this, we researched financial services, insurance, auto sales, real estate. There were, I think it was, I can't think of the other one. And every single time it was about 70% was the average for people. And what does that mean? It means that you need to follow up. You need to have a good system in place and a good plan. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. And so let me tell you why people don't buy from you. Okay. So first and foremost, people aren't going to buy from you because there's a lack of time. Sometimes it's just timing. People are busy. They're running around. You're following them. You might be in some cases chasing them. And if you chase people, by the way, they run. You hear that? When you chase people, they're going to run. So we don't want to be chasing people. But what we want to be doing is following up with people. And sometimes people just can't give you the time because they're busy. Another one is personal issues, right? Personal issues. There's just things going on, unfortunately, I had somebody we were talking with about a workshop, a 2-day workshop for their company. His wife's mother passed away. We were supposed to have a call to finalize everything for the workshop, and his wife's mother had passed away. God bless them. And but things like that happen. It's tough. I mean, obviously now his top priority is not doing a workshop with me anymore, right? Like those are things that really happen in life. Another one is concerns about cost. People may think your price is too high and they're not even telling you. Maybe they're going online and seeing other things that are similar to you, but it's less. So that's also an issue as well. Change of guard. This happens a lot in the B2B space. And years ago, I remember I was working with Verizon, and I spent so much time with a rep at Verizon, and we were supposed to launch a big campaign in the magazine. And then all of a sudden I call her and she was no longer there. She was gone. And it was a brand new rep, and I had to start over from scratch with a new person. And it was like, oh my gosh. But we ended up doing it, but it was like a 6 month, it prolonged the whole process, like 6 months. So that happens too. Sometimes you're dealing with the wrong person, right? Not the decision maker. So you got to make sure you have the decision maker. That's something that we talk about in fact finding. If you're going to be meeting with somebody, make sure you have all the decision makers present. Especially in a real estate space, like sometimes people will meet with maybe one of the parties. Like he'll meet with the husband, because the wife's not there, and then all of a sudden there's nothing they can do because the wife's not there, and then they have to translate your presentation to the other person. It just doesn't work. Also, wrong product is another one where sometimes you're talking to people about the wrong product. I mean, I've got so many examples of this where, you're talking to somebody about something, and it's not the thing that solves their problem. And I tell you, when we take people through our training, we explain to people that, when you demo with somebody, you should have minimum three options. I mean, three's a magic number. When you get more than three, it can sometimes even become confusing. But if you have three different options, typically one of them is going to work. If you did your fact finding right, one of them will work. And then the last one is just not ready to buy. It's not ready yet. And that happens, sometimes people just aren't ready, and you need a good system in place for follow-up. Because again, remember that number I gave you earlier? Y'all remember that number? 70% comes from follow-up. So let me do this. I'm gonna stop share for a minute. I want to put up a quiz. Well, you know what? I'm going to do this in the chat. I want to hear from you guys. If you would, in the chat, just drop in the chat. If you feel like you're really, really good, like what, on a scale of 1 to 10, how strong is your follow-up skill? So if you think like, yeah, man, I'm a master at this, rank yourself between like an 8, 9, or 10. Okay. Like an 8, 9, or 10. If you're like, okay, I mean, I'm decent. I would say, you're probably a 6 or a 7. Okay, Dina said a 6. Great. Beth said she's like almost mastery level. I love it. She's got an 8. Dina's a 6. And then, Richard's a 2. Oh my goodness, Richard. I didn't even say what a 2 was yet, but obviously that's on the lower side. So that's good news though, because we can certainly help. So, on a scale, 10 means you are like mastery level. Like I don't even consider myself a 10. So I would say like a 9 would be like the highest level, right? Because, 9, it's like you can always get better. So so it's just kind of good to kind of know like where you are, right, when it comes to follow-up. So let me go back to the slides. So these are some of the best practices now when it comes to follow-up. So number 1 is always schedule the next call right away. So whenever you're speaking with somebody, like before you move on to the next person or the next task or whatever, schedule the next task. It could be a task, it could be a call, it could be a message, it could be that you need to send out some information, but always schedule the next thing right away. And I know this next one sounds pretty basic, but use a CRM. Have a CRM. I'll tell you, I meet with so many business owners and even companies that you would think, they have like 7 or 8 employees and 10 salespeople, and they don't even have a CRM in place. And people are just, everybody's kind of doing their own thing. And, having a really good CRM in place will make all the difference in the world. And we have a great product that we use called Path to Mastery, or CRM. And I'll show you some more of that as we go deeper into this. Use a combination of emails, SMS, video, SMS, phone, and mail. So one of the things that I like to do, just a little hack, is after I get off a call with somebody, if I know I have their cell phone number, I'll shoot them a quick video just saying, hey, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. It's just a nice personal touch. Just a nice personal touch. And I like to do that. So use that combination. So it's not just one thing all the time. Here's a critical one too. When you go back to the beginning, one of the biggest mistakes, and I didn't talk about this on this workshop, but we do a workshop on the follow-up mistakes. And the biggest mistake with follow-up is only 50% or 48% of all salespeople ever call more than once, but yet it takes 5 to 12 attempts. I want you to write that number down right now. 5 to 12. That's how many attempts it's going to take to before, on average. I mean, sometimes it happens sooner. Sometimes it's longer. I mean, I've had, sometimes it's taken me 30 attempts. I mean, it just took me 15 attempts just to get a meeting with somebody, never mind. I mean, that's how many times it took me just to get it. Now, after the meeting, we had a good meeting yesterday, and now he needs more information, right? I need to answer questions. I need to get him more. He needs to do a 2-week trial. I mean, so I want you to think about the sales process. You want to plan correctly that it's going to be, 5 to 12 times, or maybe even more. So when salespeople come to me and they're like, well, that person's a waste of time, I'm going to say, well, how many times did you talk to them? Well, how many times did you reach out? They're like, I reached out 3 times. I'm like, it's not enough. It's just not enough. 3 times is not going to get it done for you. And then, the other one is have an intention, right? Always have an intention. You really, you want to have an intention when you're following up with somebody. I think it's really, really, really critically important to have that intention of what is the purpose of my call. What is the goal? What is the challenge? Like, don't just randomly, because I see this all the time. Like some salespeople will just random, hey, yeah, just following up. And no, we don't want to be just following up. This is the mindset now when you think about follow up. The first thing is we got to get out of our ego, because I'll tell you, a lot of people, they're not going to follow up. Why? Because their ego is going to get in the way. And they're going to say things like, well, I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to be aggressive. Oh my gosh. But when you say, when you say, I don't want to be pushy or I don't want to be aggressive, who is that about? If in the chat, you can just write it's about you. But if you come from a place of contribution and you make it about the other person, right? If you come from contribution, make it about the other person. And then the next thing is have a different reason each time for the connect. It's going to be easy to follow up 5 to 12 times. But when it's all about you and it's about your ego and, oh my gosh, I don't want to look bad, I don't want to be seem aggressive and pushy. What you're saying is you're making you don't necessarily care so much about the other person, because if you care about solving the other person's problems, you're going to continue following up as many times as it takes, because deep down, you are the solution. My friends, you're the solution. And that's exactly when we do the sales execution workshop. We spend our first day, our first 2.5 hours on that, on you becoming super crystal clear on why you are the solution and why your company is the best and why somebody should pay more money, Veronica, why I would pay more money to do business with you than your competitor, right? Or Rick, why I would pay more money to do more business with you, or Jennifer, why would I pay more money to do business with you over another real estate agent out there, right? Or anybody else on this webinar? Like, that's the way you need to figure out how to answer that question. When you can do that, that's all the difference. And so again, have a different reason for the connect. Now, during this time, and it doesn't matter what time of year it is, but right now we happen to be in November. I want you to think about this over the next, today's November 16th, I believe. Yeah, today's November 16th. Okay. And going into, we have Thanksgiving coming up in, Jesus, I can't believe it's almost Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving coming up soon. Then we've got more holidays, right? We've got Christmas. If somebody celebrates Christmas. Now, here's a mistake, by the way. A common mistake is don't wish somebody Merry Christmas that doesn't celebrate Christmas, right? So know their beliefs, right? Understand their beliefs before, but you get the opportunity now to wish people a happy Thanksgiving, a Merry Christmas if they celebrate Christmas. Okay. Maybe they celebrate Hanukkah. You could wish them a happy Hanukkah if you're sure they celebrate Hanukkah. And then here's another one that always works: New Year. Like, we would call all of our clients and wish them a happy Thanksgiving first. And you're checking in with them. Hey, how's things? Great. Maybe you send in a gift, a card. A card is a great connection as well. A nice Thanksgiving card. Same thing with New Year's, another, and then the holiday, if you're clear. I just gave you 4 connections. 4 connections. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, what business you're in. Okay, Thanksgiving and New Year's, universal. Christmas, universal, if they celebrate it. All of these are great reasons to connect with a past client. Man, we do a whole workshop on going back to past clients. It's called there's a gold mine in your pocket, man. Sometimes I'll do that workshop. You guys reach out to me, and I want to, if I get enough people, I'll do that workshop as well, called There's a Gold Mine in Your Pocket. It's about going back to all those old leads that have been sitting around in your system for a long time. All right. I want to share with you, this is kind of cool. You see this little thing right here is called it's called waiting kid. Okay. You see that? See that little see his little hand right there? So I was working on a workshop with Fidelity, a bank, a local bank, and I was the vice president, right, of the bank, and we had spent a lot of time together talking about doing a 2-day workshop for them. And then finally, after like I don't know, it could have been 4 months, she said, send me over the contract. So I sent her the contracts, and I get she was supposed to send it back the next day, and I get nothing. And I'm like, okay, this is odd. So I call, and it goes to voicemail. She doesn't respond. She doesn't call me back. So I send a text the next day in an email. I get nothing. And normally she responds to my text. She responds to my calls. She's not responding at all. So this goes on for like, I don't know, like 2 weeks. And finally, after like 2 weeks, now this is a president of the bank. Okay. She was ignoring me. Right. So I send her this waiting kid. Okay. And the little thing, and I send her this. Now, some of you might like, oh, geez, you're going to send that to the vice president of the bank? I did, because she hadn't responded to me in 2 weeks. And this is somebody that always responded to me. And you know what I got? Within 30 seconds of sending it, I get this back. You see that? She put a little heart emoji. She said she hadn't. I want you to understand the value, the value in this, the communication in this. She had not responded to me in over 2 weeks for anything. I send her that emoji. She gives me, and it's called Waiting Kids. She gives me this. This comes back to me in 30 seconds. She gave me a little heart. So I reached out to her right away, and she didn't answer her phone, but I sent her a text. I said, Barbara, when can we jump on a call and talk about what's going on? She responds back to my text. She said, okay, call me tomorrow. I'm available in the afternoon. I called her, and we got on a call. And you know what she said to me? She said, hey, she goes, David, I just really like you. I like what you're all about. I'm just telling you what she said. She said, but this Grant Cardone guy, we're a small town bank. He's too aggressive for us. And I was like, well, Barbara, I completely respect that. I'm not Grant, Barbara. You know me. I'm not Grant. I mean, the material works. I will deliver in a way that works for you and your culture. And she said, yeah, you're right. And then the next day she signed the paperwork that day. She signed Friday, right before she left. And then she sent, I was paid the next Monday. Why? Why did that happen, my friends? This is why, because I was back in communication with her. I got back into communication. It's so critical. Here's another example. Check this out. This is me. All right. So there's this guy named Skyler. Okay. And we were talking to him about joining our group. And when I was recruiting for EXP, and he was ready, he was supposed to join us. I spent so much time with the guy. The amount of time is just, just a lot of time. And he was supposed to join, and then he never signed the paperwork. And he stopped responding to me. He's like ignoring me. And I'm like, is this for real? So after, I don't know, it had to be a month and a half. I finally just kind of gave it. He didn't even respond. He didn't even respond to the waiting kid, as a matter of fact. He ignored the waiting kid. That was how hardcore he was. So after a month or so, I sent him this. Hey, Skyler, what's up, brother? I just want to find you. You don't just get me, but you get my whole team. Now, I don't know if you guys could hear that or not, but you might not be able to hear it. So let me stop share for a minute. And what I'm going to do is, as I share that, I'm going to share the audio just to make sure. I'm going to play it again and make sure I share the audio with you guys. Okay. So again, you know the story. I sent him this.
Hey, Skyler, what's up, brother? I just want to remind you, when you work with me, you don't just get me, but you get my whole team.
There's 120 people in that room.
Yeah, man. Let's go, brother. Talk to you soon, man.
Now, guys, he responded like right away, right away. We're on the call. And honestly, we got in communication. He still didn't move forward. He didn't move forward. But you know what? We got back in communication. We spoke a few times. He told me what was going on, and it was awesome. But the reason I'm sharing this is because, guys, this is just about creativity, right? Just getting out there, being different, being willing to go a little outside the box. And that's what I'm sharing with you right now. Like these are the types of things that make the difference for you in sales, like sending the emoji. That was a $7,000 event that I got paid for. I've got another a $30,000 story of somebody that came from follow up. But I got so many of them. But it's like but we only have so much time here. So let me show you. So the key here is get into communication. Now, we're gonna be opening up for questions in probably about 10 minutes. So I want to make sure if you guys have questions, you can either ask them in the chat, or you can also we're streaming on Clubhouse. So if anybody on Clubhouse has questions, feel free, raise your hand. We'll get you up on the stage. But when you talk about communication, a great way to do that is with automation. Using automation in different systems, and we talked about the CRM earlier. Now, I understand a lot of it needs to be personal, one-on-one, but also if you figure out how to automate parts of your process, it will make all the difference in the world. Like we have automations for everything. If we meet with a client, as soon as we leave the client, we can attach them to a workflow that will create a specific sequence based on their business. So if they'll get a certain amount of emails, text messages, we'll add them to a newsletter. If somebody's ready to go onboarding, then they'll get a different sequence. If they're further out, like let's say they're not going to do business with us for a year or so, then they get a completely different sequence. And we can set that all up through automation. Because again, one of the biggest challenges with follow-up is things fall through the cracks. Here's an example of one of our automations. This is a fun one right here. This is called inbound missed call text message. So business owners on this call, I know there's a bunch of business owners on this call. So you ever get somebody calls your business, like let's say let's say you're kind of like a one-man shop right now. Maybe, there's many people have, you're running an agency and you don't have somebody answering your phone, somebody calls. And what happens is, you don't answer, or you're a plumber or electrician, whatever, a real estate agent, someone calls you and you don't answer. And a lot of times what they do is they'll just call the next person. But with this process, somebody calls you from a cell phone, the system, if you see up here, it says trigger, the system will pick up the missed call and instantly send an SMS message to them saying, hey, sorry we missed your call. We're with another client right now. We will be back in touch with you momentarily, or whatever you want to say, within the hour. And then it also will leave a voice message. At the same time, it's calling them back and leaving a personal voice message, a voice drop, saying exactly what I just said. And it then goes in your CRM and schedules a follow-up call. Okay, so, and it's going to notify you. You're going to get a notification to, hey, call John Smith. You missed a call from him. Imagine if your system was set up like this, where you had all these workflows in place. I mean, this is a game changer for so many of you. Whether you're a one-man shop or you have 100 employees, it doesn't make a difference. Once you start setting up automation, it's going to help all your salespeople close more sales. So these are some of the things that we talk about. If anybody's interested in learning more about my CRM project, just go to davidihill.com/CRM. And I'm happy to even jump on a strategy call with you, learn a little bit more about your business and see if it's a fit for you. So here's another video I want to share with you guys. This is Gary V. I'm sure you guys know Gary V. That's me meeting Gary V in Miami. And I chased around Gary V for about 2 years before I was able to finally, by the way, Gary was on my podcast, and I was actually on his show, his Ask Gary V show. And check this out. This is Gary.
So
next 30 days.
You hear him? Hear what he said?
I'm gonna get a photo with you.
He said, he said, we'll get it done in the next 30 days. Guys, that was after almost 2 years of follow-up to get him on my, like I made a primary focus, like I'm going to get Gary Vee on my podcast. And I use the same follow-up strategies I use in my business to get Gary on my podcast. So what we're going to do is I'm going to open it up in about 5 minutes. We're going to take some questions. All right. And also some takeaways from you guys. All right. So we're going to give us another 5 minutes. I just want to share a quick story with you. And then I'm going to open it up to you guys for some questions. All right. So some of my final thoughts here. And so, you know, it was 2017. I joined a group of CEOs when I was running my real estate team, my real estate business. And, you know, we had this big workshop mastermind out in Burlington, Vermont. And at the first day, the person that was running it, he challenged all of us to take on a health track. And there were 3 different health tracks. There was yoga, there was HIIT, which is high intensity interval training, and there was Ironman race. Now, at the time, to me, the yoga was too wimpy. I mean, I did yoga anyway. My wife's a yoga instructor as well. So yoga was nothing to me. Well, yoga is great, but I'm saying for that, it would, and the high intensity interval training, at the time I was doing CrossFit. So, you know, it was this, I was doing that anyway. And then there was the Ironman race. And in my mind, I said, there's no way I'm doing an Ironman race. It seemed ridiculous. It seemed impossible. It didn't even make sense to me. But over the next 3 days, the host, okay, the guy that was running the event, he kept pressuring us to everybody. If you signed up for this one, you're going to sign up for, if you sign up for yoga, do HIIT. If you sign up for HIIT, do Ironman. So finally at the last day, I agreed. A few others agreed. And I actually thought it was a pretty good idea until I got to the Ellington YMCA pool. And I, you know, I went out, I bought all this stuff, swimming gear and you know, all the stuff I didn't have, bikes and, you know, cause Ironman race, it's a big deal. And I would challenge anybody to take one on. But I went to the Ellington YMCA pool and I got in the pool and I swam one single lap. Here's one, my friends. I went from one side of the pool to the other and then back. And I panicked. I couldn't even breathe. I was drinking pool water. I panicked. I said, it did the math in my head. And I said, in order to complete this race, I would have to go back and forth 86 times. I just did 2 and I thought I was going to drown in 4-foot water and can't even breathe. I panicked. I went out, I went to the front. I got my phone. I called my wife and my wife's always super supportive. David, you can do anything you want. I love you. And like, that ain't going anywhere. So I called Adam, the guy that signed me up. And Adam was like, dude, stop being a B word and go hire a coach. A coach? He's like, yeah, a swim coach. And he hung up on me. I was like, they have swim coaches? So I went to the front counter at the YMCA and there was Joel, the swim coach. And they said, so, you know, I talked to Joel and Joel was going to meet me at the pool 2 days later. So here I am 2 days later, I meet Joel at the pool and Joel said, okay, I want you to swim down and back. And so, you know, he watches me swim. I swim down to the other end and then he watches me swim back and he gives me a little bit of instruction. And he says, okay, I want you to do it again. So now I go and I swim all the way down to the end, right? And I'm coming back and I'm just about to, and you know, I'm out of breath. I'm like, I'm breathing heavy because I'd swim the one and I'm just about to grab you. And he says, go another lap. And I was like, what? He said, go another lap, do another lap. I said, Joe, he said, do another lap. So I turn around and I started dragging myself back to the other end of the pool. Right. And I'm breathing heavy. Now it's even worse. Right now I'm like, and the water's going in my mouth and I'm tasting the nasty chlorine water. But I'm pulling myself to the other end and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm actually doing this. And now, you know, I'm nervous. I'm in deep water, but I'm just about to grab the other end of the pool. And he's standing there and he says, go back. I'm like, I can't, Joel. He's like, go back. And he yelled at me. And I just like panicked and I turned around and I started dragging myself back to the other end of the pool. And it was so bad. Like if you're a swimmer, like my body was probably swimming like this. It was just horrible. but and then I just remember dragging myself and drinking the water, and it was so bad. And then I remembered I was like, started getting nervous, like I may drown. But then it occurred to me that though I wasn't even in the deep end of the pool anymore, so I couldn't drown. Like the water wasn't even deep enough for me to drown. So I just kept pulling myself, and I made it all the way back. I just did 4 laps, guys. I did 4 laps. All I need, and as I left the pool, I was thinking about this, and Joel said, "Okay, great job, congratulations." And I had a breakthrough because, and he said, "And I want you to meet me here on Saturday. All right, I want you to practice what we just went over and meet me here on Saturday." Now here was my breakthrough. As I was leaving the Y, I would be willing to bet. Not only did I do the 4 laps, but I would have been willing to bet that I could have done those 4 laps the first time I got in the pool, but there was nobody there to push me to do it. I gave up on myself. I did the 1 lap. I did the 1 lap back, and I panicked and I gave up. See, Joel pushed me to do things that I thought were impossible. Things I thought I couldn't even do, but yet he had more confidence in me than I had in myself. And I did it. And what he did was he created breakthroughs for me. And that breakthrough wasn't just in that pool, my friends. That breakthrough showed up in my business. That breakthrough showed up in everywhere in my life as a leader. And here's the cool thing. Check this out. That breakthrough was the game changer for me. All right. Because in 2019, here's me. Okay, at the Ironman. Okay, hold on one sec. This is me at the finish line of the 2018 Lake Placid Ironman. And the only reason I made it to that finish line was because of Joel. I would have never made it to that finish line if it wasn't Joel. And then the second picture, that's me just last month, Jones Beach, New York. That's me crossing the finish line of the Jones Beach, New York, 2023, 70.3. And the only reason I made it to that finish line, why, is because of Joel. And by the way, with that one, there was a swim. I had to complete a swim in a tropical storm. Guys, I had to complete a swim in a tropical storm. Why? That all started in that pool that day with Joel. So the question really is like, who's pushing you? Who's challenging you? Who's helping you do things that you think are impossible? So I'm gonna open it up in a minute for questions, right? As I promised you, but I want to let you know that we have a sales workshop coming up. The next one is December 5th and 6th, and right now, for today, for people that want to take it to the next level or interested in not just learning everything I talked about in the follow-up, but your whole sales process. Like, we spend 2 days together. It's a game changer workshop. Right now, you can take $200 off the normal price of the workshop. If you go to Grant Cardone's website and you can go Google it if you want. This is a $5,000 workshop. That's what they charge to come to the office and take it. I'm doing it virtually on Zoom. The price is only $997. But right now, if you register today and you use the code 200 at checkout, the code 200, it'll take $200 off, and you can get the workshop for $797, and you can attend the workshop with us, and that'll be a game changer for you. Not just ending your year, but think about how you end the year, but going into the new year with all these new these new skills. So I wanted to make sure you guys had an opportunity, and then to make it even more special, today we're doing a bonus. This is an online workshop that we sell. This is a pre-recorded. You can buy this workshop if you want. It's only $97. If you, let's say you like, there's no way I can spend $800 right now, but I would want to buy the recordings. You can do that. But we're throwing this in for free as well as a bonus for the people that take advantage of the workshop. So that's an option for you. As I said, I want to pause now, and I want to get some questions. So if you're in Clubhouse and you have a question, feel free to raise your hand. If you're on the Zoom, I see there's a bunch of us on Zoom. If you have a question on Zoom, let me stop sharing my screen right now and see who's got a question. If you have a question, you can either drop it in the chat, or the way I set it up is if you turn your camera on, you'll actually join me on the video if you want to ask your question. So do we have any questions?
Can I ask my question without putting on my video?
Yeah, of course. 100%.
Okay, I just can't figure out how I went from being this woman that was bringing in millions from Morgan Stanley last year and killing it in sales, and now I'm doing affiliate marketing. I'm doing all these things. I can't sell for my business. I'm not being able to sell for any of my affiliate marketers. Like I just feel like I'm off my A game, and I don't know why I'm not, what I'm doing wrong. I guess I just need to listen to you more. 'Cause I am not doing it. I'm not the girl I was last year, and that's bothering me.
I mean, obviously, I don't know enough about your business or your process right now. I do coach people, so certainly, if you're interested, I'm happy to have a strategy call with you and see if there's something we can do to help. But I mean, hey, first step, you jumped on this webinar, right? And I think that's a great first step for you to kind of get a little bit clear on some of the things. And then I would recommend, honestly, is this Veronica speaking?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
me. I have a couple businesses, and then I'm also promoting like my real estate investing mentors business
Sure.
and other people's businesses. I love supporting people, as everyone knows that about me, but I'm not getting yeses. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, Veronica, I would start if, and I mean, I'm not saying this to sell a workshop. I'm saying this because I truly believe the workshop would be a tremendous place for you to start, even before like coaching with me. You know, if that's something you wanted to explore, but because you'll spend a couple days on your business, your sales process, your product, your you know what makes you different than other people that are doing the same thing as you. You know, it's a tremendous workshop. I mean, I'm confident. I'm so confident on this workshop that I literally, this is being recorded. Is I will tell people, if you go through the 2-day workshop and you show up for the 2 days, and at the end of the 2 days you say, David, that wasn't worth it, I will reimburse you the money you've invested in a workshop. That's my guarantee. I'm telling you that right here live as I'm being recorded. So if you're willing to invest today, it's only an $800 investment for everybody listening. If you're willing to invest $800 in yourself and you said, oh my gosh, it wasn't worth it. Because the people that go through this workshop, they do it again and they do it again. And they're like, oh my God, that is a life changer for me. Anybody with integrity. And I'm assuming everybody has integrity, right? Otherwise you wouldn't be on here and you wouldn't be going through a sales workshop to make yourself better. So Veronica, again, not knowing enough about your situation, I can't give you an answer to your question, but I would encourage you, as Joel, the coach, encouraged me to do another lap, sign up for the workshop. I really believe it would help you. And if you think it didn't help you, then you let me know and we'll give you your money back.
I've basically spent almost $8,000 between all of these coaches on BWC in the last couple months. So at this point, I have to wait until January before I could do another workshop or coaching session with anybody else.
Okay,
I've been
that's all right.
sponsoring so many people's events. When's your next event, though? A workshop after this?
Yeah, we do them like once a quarter. But I again, I don't know if your business can wait, then awesome. But again, I do appreciate the questions. Feel free to reach out to me, and I'm certainly happy to talk to you offline, one-on-one, and see if there's a way we can help you with that. Okay, awesome.
Okay,
Do we have any other questions?
Hey,
Anybody?
David, Dina here. I just have a quick question.
Dina, how are you?
Good. What program did you use for that texting, for the call then texting? That's pretty slick.
Isn't that awesome? Yeah, we have a system. It's called Path to Mastery. It's our agency. So if you're interested, I can send you a link. I can send you a demo, and I can also get you a 2-week free trial if you're interested in it.
Yeah, I am completely.
Yeah, it's an amazing system, and yeah, that's only the tip of the iceberg. We have real estate agents that have used funnels, sales funnels, landing pages, and different sales funnels. So the sales funnels connected on the front end, and then when somebody goes through the funnel, it starts all this other automation. So
yeah, I've got to figure out how. I tried to get my provider to allow funnels, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Hey, it's all right. It depends. Well, yeah.
But if you can send me, I would love that, the whatever it is, that Path to Mastery link for the texting.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that down for you right now, and we'll make sure we get that link over to you. And again, same thing with you. If you're, I wouldn't mind learning a little bit more about your business, Dina, as well, and maybe there's some other things we could provide you with as well that would help you get to that next level. All right. Do we have any other questions? Looks like we got about 5 minutes left, so we did really great on time. Veronica, I appreciate you with your question. Also, thank you, Dina, for that great question. I think for everybody, at the least, you should be looking at the workshop in our CRM. The CRM is amazing, and it's an absolute game changer. for a lot of people's business. So any final thoughts, any questions? Okay, great. Looks like somebody was just popping in. Okay. Hey,
Hey,
Beth.
David.
Beth, good to see
Hey,
you.
David.
I know, Beth.
Yes,
How are you?
I am good. Yeah. I mean, I know I've already heard your story about the swimming, but it made me go back to probably a story you've heard from me before. In high school, cross country, like running, our coach would make us run a hill. We'd come down the hill. We'd throw up. She's
Jeez.
like, back up the hill. And we go back up the hill. And then we come back down, throw up. But with that being said, we all learned because our coaches taught us that, right? They taught us that you're not going to make it up the hill without getting some help. So when
Right.
we would go out battling against other schools, we would be reaching out hands. We would make chains to get up the mountains when we were running, and we'd throw people up. But when we got to flat land, we took off.
Mm.
We pulled you up. We can only pull you up so far. And when it comes to the stuff that you and I do with coaching, we can only pull them up the hill. When they get to the top of the hill, they better unleash or not. That's it. But that's all I have to
Amen.
say, David.
I agree with you on that. I agree with that, Beth. At the end of the day, it really does fall on you. The other, but you do a lot of, like, for me, it was Joel that pushed me, and because he pushed me, and because I was going to give up, Beth, you knew, like you said, you've heard my story. I've shared it before. You've been on a bunch of our events. I was going to give up after the 2 laps, and I say, oh my God, oh my God, there's no way I can do this. And then he showed me right away that you can do twice as much as you thought without even any changes, really. And it was, I needed that. I needed to see that. I needed to experience it. So thank you for sharing that. But then you're right. At the end of the day, then it was up to me to keep training. It was up to me to keep showing up every morning for 3, 4, 5-hour workouts. Joel wasn't there with me. So you're absolutely right. But it took him in the beginning to get me started. Which I think is why everybody should be doing this workshop with us on December. Okay, so but listen, that anybody else final thoughts? We got about 3 minutes left. I'm still open for questions. We're planning to go till 2:00. So any final thoughts? All right. Well, then you know what we're gonna do is I'm gonna bring you right back to the slide. Where we started today, which is Zig Ziglar. Okay, this is when you help enough people get what they want, then you will end up with whatever it is that you want. And I truly believe that. And I've always done great. And I don't think I'll ever be exactly where I want to be, but I'll tell you what, man, I've been blessed. For a lot of you that know my story and where I come from as a child, is growing up in a car and a lot of other stuff. We've been really blessed. And I truly believe it's because really about 22 years ago, I started focusing on helping other people, and God has blessed us with that. So with that, I just want to thank you guys all for being here.